go to the very top, and you want to make the most of it, get to the very bottom. So that's the,
So
that's the end goal. It's like to ride the whole track or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, it's Dan Malloy. Welcome to another episode of Regarding Waves. I sat down with Trevor Gordon to talk about surfing and sailing. We had a great conversation. I hope you enjoy it. So when did you start shaping?
I think I started shaping like 2019. A little bit, tinkering at Ryan's shop, his old shop downtown. That's when I first started shaping my own board, start to finish. But every board Ryan's ever made for me, I went and watched. 90% of the boards I went and watched and do the whole process.
So started getting it figured out.
Yeah, I just was always interested in his process and what goes into them, and then more importantly feeling the board through the whole process and kind of getting into where you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. And what do you ride anybody else's boards now? Or I know you will ride them, but do you pretty much make all your own boards now?
Pretty much. I have a couple from Ryan still. I have a couple fun boards from Mollusk, with Kirk, Kirk collab with Mollusk. And one good one from Alan Gibbons. But for the most part, riding my own boards.
Do you know how many boards you've shaped now?
Yeah, I have written down 270.
270.
Yeah, but I don't know if I've counted in the England boards before. But I've been pretty meticulous with keeping the ones I've shaped in that room.
Rad.
Yeah.
Rad.
Which sounds like 270 just feels like not that many boards, but if you think about it, it feels like a lot of boards.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
Well, yeah, and I know one of the things I've watched with you is when you get into something, you learn fast and you're super steady at moving along with it. So, and I think your interest in boats and surfboards, basically your whole life, it's kind of 270 isn't that many compared to some shapers, but what I'm seeing come out, and then you're riding them all. You're riding, you're right. Not every board you make, but you're riding the boards you're making and getting direct feedback. So I think 270 is a super solid number.
Yeah, totally. It's fun to have the instant feedback. Whereas if you got a board from a shaper, I always be kind of shy to have critiques, or the back and forth with a shaper is super fun. Surfer shaper is super fun. And I think there's something to that that's different than even shaping your own boards, but the lag time can be frustrating.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's like surfing's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's you get something you want to ride and you want to have this experience, but you got to act on it kind of quick, or else it goes and turns into something else. That's what's fun about shaping your own boards. You just have this feeling you want to get. You may or may not get there right away, but it can happen a little faster.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that the other thing is we were talking about the placebo effect, and I think that there's a ton of that in surfing. And so you not only if you're shaping for somebody else, you have to deal with what specific feedback is totally real concrete stuff and what is kind of placebo. And then when you ride it yourself, you're just oh, I know exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting feedback's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for me, the big shift that I saw with surfers shaping their own boards, because I think that the period that I grew up in, we were relying so much on like master shapers, and there were guys shaping their own boards, but not that many. But when I saw Birch and Alex Nost like do what they did, I think that was like, I saw such a shift in their surfing that was so much better, especially Ryan Birch. Like, I mean, Al has just always been really fun to watch surf, but when Birch went from, you know, riding conventional boards, I mean, he's always ridden a bunch of rad stuff, but when he got really good at shaping, his surfing like got really exciting. Like, I remember watching him ride conventional boards, and really good surfer.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, oh, I want to, you know, search footage out of him.
Yeah.
And then he got really good at shaping, and it completely transformed his surfing in my eyes. I was like, oh, he's one of my favorite surfers to watch by far.
Yeah.
And that's when, you know, I was like, man, that's the ticket for sure, even though I haven't gotten on the train.
Yeah, totally. And I wonder how much of that is like, Birch boards are super insane. They're really well thought out and designed. But a lot of that, I feel like, also is just like being stoked on using something you've made.
Yeah.
And just having that like next level of like satisfaction or whatever it is that just excites you to surf a certain way too.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of those things, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, he I just got a board off him.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm super psyched on. It feels good. It's like really thin and chippy, but I think it should work if I'm just gonna, even though it feels a little small for me, I'm just gonna put it
probably
through
good
its paces. Yeah.
I feel like it feels good when they're a little.
Yeah,
little
and his
small.
rails are super tapered, huh? So I think they feel like there's less, like there's volume in the center.
Yeah. The one I have is like kind of like thin, but I think it's an older one, but it's like pretty thin all the way out.
Yeah.
But like the same thickness all the way out.
Are there any specific shapers that you look to for kind of inspiration?
I mean, your Birch is a big one, just like the surfer shaper and just his style.
Yeah.
I really like what like Ellis is doing, like surfer shape, just doing some really unique designs.
Yeah. Super dedicated to
Super
like a
dedicated
line,
and like, and he seems like he knows what he wants. He's like on this path.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm excited about Ellis because to like be dedicated to what Greeno is pointing at, you know, it's like, I feel like Greeno offers up these things and they're, you know, he's like this almost like theoretical physicist, and he is pointing to something, but it doesn't always work. Like his version doesn't always work for how we want to surf.
Yeah.
But it takes somebody like Ellis who's like, oh, I'm going to figure out what he's talking about.
Just chip away at it, yeah.
Yeah, and so to just like dedicate his life to making these boards that have a ton of Greeno influence, but aren't made for, you know, aren't made exactly like Greeno makes them. Super exciting. It feels like you could find something out in time.
Yeah.
I'd love to ride one of
have
his
you ridden
boards.
one? No, me neither.
No. But
I saw a guy riding one at Rincon last year, and like from real far away, I was like, "Ooh, what's that?"
You're all, what is that?
What he's kind of like on top of the water in a different sort of way.
Yeah, that's always rad when you see something and you're like, you notice something from a distance, and there is no placebo. Like you're just seeing
just like
something.
Your eye.
Yeah. That's what I love about boards is, I know I've had this on Lovelace boards a couple times, where I feel it and I'm like, oh, there's kind of a lot of bells and whistles. Like it was kind of reverse placebo effect where I was like, oh, there's a lot going on here.
Better work like this.
Well, it just was like, I don't know if all this is necessary. I've ridden many magic boards. Most of the magic boards I've ever surfed in my life have like no bells and whistles, you know, and jumped on it and was kind of like, I don't know about this board. And then I was like, whoa, there's a spark to it for sure that I wasn't expecting. So that's always fun. Yeah. But I was gonna chat with you about your boat life a little bit, and how all that got started. And I know you kind of grew up in the harbor a little bit, huh? Or spending time in the harbor. Yeah.
Like where to start? I mean, my dad's always been like a boat fanatic, and in college, and when he met my mom, they got into catamaran racing, and he got into like the beach launching catamaran scene, which was kind of the equivalent of a like foil boarding or kiteboarding like cruise. They, like nowadays it's kiteboarder cruise or whatever. They're all stacked up on the beach and ripping laps out there, but it was all Hobies and Nacras in the 80s and 90s.
Uh-huh.
So he was big into that scene, and they would travel around California like racing together. And then once me and my brother came along, they started getting cruising boats and like going out to the islands and just spending time, not racing, just like hanging out on boats. So we grew up doing that. Through a series of sailboats and power boats until, me and Maddie kind of got fed up paying rent in Santa Barbara and just figured out a way to buy a little boat and slip in the harbor and move on there.
Yeah, I remember when you told me you were moving on to the boat, I was like, rad, that's so cool. And like, in my mind, I was like, you got, 6 months, a year, whatever. I wasn't expecting it all to be, how long ago was that?
I don't even know. How old am I now? It's probably 14 years ago or something. Something like that.
So I was wrong. I was wrong there.
It's weird going from a house. Like we lived in Carp, actually, not far from here, in like this big house with a bunch of roommates and had gardens and chickens and everything. And then all of a sudden to be like, okay, can't take any of that stuff with you. You have this one little tiny closet. But then it opens up like a world in a different way. So it's just like downsizing was an interesting thing at first.
Yeah.
And still is.
Yeah.
Still like battling that like stuff to sanity ratio.
And then recently or not too recently, but relatively to moving onto the boat, you guys sized up, bought a cat. Mm-hmm. And where was it again?
Yeah, the boat was in the Canary Islands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The previous owner had bought it in the U.S., I think, on the East Coast, and then sailed it to the Mediterranean for a while, and then was headed back to the U.S. and like was caught in a storm or something happened where the mast fell down.
Demasted it?
Yeah, just masted like off of Gibraltar somewhere, and they limped their way just downwind to the Canaries, and then COVID hit. So the boat kind of got stranded. They couldn't go visit it. In hindsight, that was like the craziest probably time in my life. Like to sell everything we had here, which was pretty dialed and set up.
On your boat?
Like we had a boat and a slip in the harbor, and it was pretty easy and everything was good. But we always wanted to expand a little bit.
How big was that boat in the harbor? What was it?
36, Catalina 36.
Uh-huh.
Which is a good boat, but you don't want to really cross an ocean in it. Like people do. But it's just not really designed for that. Mm-hmm. And that's what we wanted to do.
When you say cross an ocean, you mean cross like the channel or
cross like a
big
1,000 miles plus or whatever. Just like doesn't have water capacity, doesn't have storage. Just the way the deck is bonded to the hull is not designed for that. The rigging, everything's undersized. So if you're gonna do that, you gotta beef up everything, which you can do, but it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we wanted to get a catamaran because Maddie never really liked heeling on a sailboat, like heeled over when you sail.
Yeah.
Never really loved that.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
Yeah.
And so the catamaran's just flat. And I've always wanted a catamaran. I like, as a little baby, grew up like around them and always have like had an infatuation for catamarans and just the speed and the stability and the space. So we settled on a design that we wanted, our brand, and a size. And we found this one in the Canaries that was...
How long did it take you guys to, like you were just scouring?
I mean, I would always look and be like, oh, that one's cool, can't afford it, whatever. Like just for like several years.
Yeah, then you found one with the mast ripped off.
Well, the mast had been put back on, but it was still super cheap, and it was COVID, nobody could really go look at it. And it was just cheap compared to what they normally go for. Turns out when I got there, it was like way more run down than I thought. Visually, like everything was in good condition, but it had just been sitting for 5 years unused. So if you know like engines or boats, like it's got to get used and greased or whatever, and so almost everything didn't work. So we spent 6 months. I pretty much went there for 2 weeks to look at it and stayed for 2 stints of 3 months before we had the baby. And it was pretty awesome. Like managed to have just enough money at the time to be able to spend it and like live there a little bit and work on stuff. And
Like what big projects did you do? I mean, I know you did everything, but I mean, anybody that knows anything about boats,
yeah,
like I was tripping on what you were doing over there. I was like, you're doing what?
yeah.
And then you're going to sail it home.
Yeah.
But what were some of the bigger projects you worked on over there?
Let's see. Well, it has 2 diesel engines. Those were both seized up, didn't work. So that was a big one. Took them both out and just like took them apart, rebuilt them. It was missing a skeg, like a fin, which is in front of the prop. Is like meant
Is it
to,
called a skeg on?
Yeah, they call them skegs. So there's like a dagger board. It has a dagger board that goes up and down, which is for upwind performance. But then there's a skeg, which is basically like a surf fin, way back, right in front of the prop, that both blocks crud from hitting the prop and like fouling you, or you can also rest the boat in the mud and low tide paint the bottom or do whatever. So one of those was missing, so we had to like build a mold off the other one and then glass it and fill it with foam and then fit it on the other side. That was like building this big fin. It needed like all new through holes, all new mast wiring.
So much.
Yeah, I can't even remember like everything. What did we do? We built like a whole new solar panel setup because all that was bad and the batteries were toasted by then.
And didn't you have to machine some parts?
Oh yeah, we built new rudders, rudder posts, and one of the rudders was all messed up.
And then once it was all ready, had you ever made a crossing like that?
No, I never. I mean, I've sailed a ton, but I've never crossed an ocean. And insurance wanted people that had crossed an ocean before to
Be in the boat?
to be on the boat.
No way.
Yeah, they were like, we need everyone. You need 4 people. Everyone's got to be experienced. One person has to have done it before, and the other 2 have to have blue water experience. So I just went on Instagram and found 3 guys on Instagram. 1 guy had done it before, and 2 that had.
No way. I didn't know
One
that.
guy had blue water experience, and the other guy we just pretended, basically. Yeah, they're all. I didn't know any of those guys before.
I didn't
ended
know
up spending
that.
a month with them on the boat.
Did it pan out? Were there any?
Yeah, they were all
duds?
great. No, everyone was great. I knew. Yeah, I didn't know. Feels like obviously I know them really well now, but I didn't know them at all before.
And was there any like sketchy moments out there, or just for you in the crossing, or was it you guys get good weather?
We broke that skeg off. Remember that we built? We broke the other side off somewhere in the middle. So we started noticing that the boat was kind of squirrely. It's like riding a twin fin with like one fin missing a little bit. That was like the biggest thing that broke. But aside from just like leaving his tiny little island off the coast of like Senegal, no, off the coast of Morocco. Just like, it's not like here where it's all protected and you just like mosey out and it slowly gets windier. It's like you leave the island and you're just in the gnarliest trade winds ever. So like it goes instantly to gnarly ocean once you leave the island, and that was just like
Crazy.
Yeah, it was just like crazy leaving. It was crazy leaving and knowing you can't really turn around because it was just big seas, like 10-foot seas blowing 30, 40 around these islands.
Crazy.
And, like, you just can't turn around.
And you hadn't sailed too many big cats before that, or?
No, 0.
0?
No, I'd sailed on a friend. I'd sailed on a friend's to San Diego once.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but we did a sea trial and we did an accidental jibe and like popped this D-ring, this like 10 mil D-ring with the main, like bent the D-ring in half from the prevent. We had a preventer on. Popped this D-ring and then I was like, holy smokes, this thing is powerful. It's got a huge rig, it's 45 feet tall, has a brand new, the boat didn't have sails when we got it either. We had to get sails made.
Oh my God.
It's big new sails. And I was just like, this thing's powerful and I have to go 3,000 miles now and just like learn it. Just had to learn it as we went. It was kind of nuts.
Rad, because by the time you got home, you were like,
Yeah, I was like,
I know how to sail this thing.
Yeah, just trial by fire. In hindsight, like I would tell myself not to do that again.
For sure.
So sketchy. I don't know. Yeah.
I was definitely like, you're nuts. I can't believe you're doing that.
At the time, you're just like, oh, got this. I guess you have to be.
That's that level of naive confidence that I do not have. But I love it because I've just watched you do that with projects over and over, and then like all of a sudden become proficient, like super
Yeah.
solidly, and it's
Just gotta dive in, I guess.
yeah. And so now you are back in Santa Barbara and living at the Anchorage, right?
Yeah, been back here three years maybe.
There was a tsunami warning 2 days ago,
Yeah.
right? Or wait, night before last.
Yeah.
And I called Trevor, and he's like, heading out to sea right
Didn't
now.
have to see. They say go 300 feet, but we went to 40. Yeah, which we were one of the deeper boats. A lot of people just anchored out like 20 feet deeper.
And did you
Yeah.
grow up riding conventional thrusters?
Yeah, I grew up. I mean, my first couple boards were Yater, fun shapes like thruster mid lengths. That's what I really like fully learned on. But then once I could stand up and go down the line, I went straight to CIs, like the Blem room, or like the used room at CIs. So I was getting these like way free chip bobby boards, and that's what I surfed on for years and years. And then Ryan made me like a little egg, like 5'2".
Ryan
egg
Lovelace?
Yeah, Ryan Lovelace made me a quad 5'2" egg. That's what kind of changed my surfing. Just similar volume to what I'd been riding forever, but just shorter and a little wider, and then just, I don't know what's going on in that thing, but just hopping up and then not having to do the and then like just these pointless turns. That's like a lot of shortboarding is just like a pointless turn. Doesn't serve any purpose to like the end goal. I'm just getting up on the board and just going and I was like, whoa. That just like, that shifted me then. That first board from Ryan. And then just, following all those paths down. And then just like kind of aligned with like being able to drive. I started driving at 17, met Ryan at 17, 18. And I could just drive to Rincon. Before that I was surfing like the pit and like these little beach breaks in Santa Barbara. So the shortboards were fine. Every now and then Sandspit would be good, and you can ride anything out there. But then surfing Rincon a lot during that time, it's like the specific board really would allow you to like surf the whole way.
And during that time, was there a little like explosion of different people riding different boards that you remember at Rincon, or what kind of like influenced you from there? Just surfing those boards and getting new boards from Ryan mainly?
Yeah, pretty much just, like Ryan, whatever trips Ryan was on, he would just funnel boards to us as his rider.
Test pirate?
A test pirate, yeah. I don't really remember having, like, he was getting really into hulls at the time. I remember seeing a lot of Tyler Warrant riding a lot of that sort of board. That was pretty inspiring.
And Tyler was shaping his own boards?
Yeah, Tyler was starting to shape his own boards then too. Like Greg Little hulls, like all the, just having riding displacement sort of stuff at Rincon. And realizing that like the chippy thruster just wasn't where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, just like
and
a
you were
big
saying,
shift. I don't know.
yeah, you were saying like, what I think is funny in surfing is like what people think is functional and what people think is, not functional. And you were talking about like pointless turns and the end goal.
Yeah.
Like that could be totally different for every
Yeah.
surfer. So like when you're talking about the end goal, what is that? Like,
yeah,
what do
so
you
like
mean?
you show up at Rincon, it's pumping and there's 100 people out or whatever, and you go to the very top and you want to make the most of it, get to the very bottom. So that's that's the end goal, is like to ride the whole track or whatever.
Yeah.
And not just like, who cares what kind of, do cool turns along the way or whatever, go fast, but like make the most of the waves that are like so fleeting.
Yeah. So riding the whole wave
Yeah,
is the
right.
end goal.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's funny you say that because I remember, I forget, but we were filming for something. I don't know if I don't think I ever did a trip with Thomas with you, but I remember we were maybe up in Canada or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was actually like, that's your state of mind, is like riding the whole wave.
Mm-hmm.
And I did so many trips like where we were filming, and I'd gotten this incentive to like, we're all there together trying to film, and like the waves you don't surf well enough on, like they don't end up in the movie.
Yeah.
And so there's an extra incentive to try to like go ape shit.
Yeah, Yeah, do a big trick.
Well, yeah, do a big trick because, or whatever, do like the best turn of your life,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise, like you're not, it's not going to make it in the film, and you're not going to get invited on the next trip. And I remember watching you, and like you seem unaffected by filming to me, because I'm like, every wave I got, I was like trying to literally do the best turn I've ever done in my life. And I was kind of cracking up because I'm like, oh, we're on totally different wavelengths. Like I grew up in an era.
I should blend a little more into that.
Yeah,
sometimes for sure.
I grew up in an era and a time, and with these goals of just a different thing. And I was watching you, and you were just surfing exactly like you do at home. Really, really good, really high level. But you weren't like trying to blow the fins out on every wave, and you seemed not concerned about filming too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is kind of like Rostovich's approach. When I noticed, like he's by far one of the best surfers I've ever been in the water with.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's interesting about him and a bunch of the guys I grew up with is that we all like might have a couple good waves during the session, but overall it's like a train wreck. And when you surf with, or not a train wreck, it's just like there's a lot of failed attempts.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
And when you surf with Rastovich or you, like the whole session is pretty darn consistently good, and riding waves from the beginning to the end, the whole session. And and I'm like, oh, that's real surfing. That's much better surfing in general.
Yeah,
And
totally.
So,
I did a trip with Craig Anderson's like the best. He's like so insane to watch, such a good surfer. But we were at this right tubing point or reef thing. He would get a tube, but then he would like pump and like kind of wait, and then just do the most psychoest airs, but like landing like 5% of them.
Yeah, like one in a session.
Yeah, and I was just like, whoa, that's just a different approach. It's just a different mindset. Like, and every now and then you land one, you'd be like, whoa, that was insane. But like, a lot of I don't know, it's just different. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's different. It's almost like a combination between a surfing and a skating mindset, where
Yeah.
skaters will try something for a week straight or all day long.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to do something you've never done before, which is fun. Like
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun doing that. It's also really frustrating at times, but it's just a different.
Yeah, I wonder if it comes from just living in a place like Santa Barbara where it breaks like maybe once a month.
Yeah.
In the winter a bit more often, but if you averaged it, it'd be like one good day a month.
Yeah, and
Maybe.
when you get a good wave at Rincon and you catch a rail, it's a terrible
Yeah,
feeling.
it's like the wave pool thing, yeah.
It's like slow motion. You're like, oh my God. Like you catch your rail and you're like, watch it go by. You're just like, no.
Yeah, your whole life flashes before your eyes. The whole lineup's just like, no.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
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 Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for
It's been,
chatting for a little bit.
Thanks for
Super
hanging.
inspiring to watch your line these last, 20 years or whatever it's been since we've known each other.
yeah, ever since the best session ever.
Yeah.
I think that was when it first something clicked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like that day, seeing you out there, and
Was that the day?
you were super sick. You were super sick. You were like totally pale and like skinny looking, and it was like the best it's ever been. The sand. Remember that? It was kind of that same sort of swell. Keith got that nuts one.
Yeah. Was I riding that Danny Hess board?
I don't remember what you're
Yeah.
riding exactly. But I mean, I remember being
I
really
think
good,
I
and
remember
then
the day, yeah.
I hadn't really met you. I maybe met you briefly before, but then after I met you, and you're like, dude, I was so sick that day, but I had to paddle out because it was so good.
Yeah, there was one day where it was one of the best days I've ever seen it, and I was just scrambling. And I grabbed this Danny Hess, and I paddled out at the beach break, and paddled down to the pack, and I picked off a wave right off the bat, off the top. Didn't make it, but when I pulled out, I was just below the top of the pack, and this set came and it swung wide and picked everybody off, and I like scrambled up the corner and got it.
Yeah.
And I rode it. It was the longest wave of my life, like J-Bay, Indo, everything.
Wow.
And I rode it. When I came in, I was like trying to get everything I could out of it. I was on my belly in the whitewash,
Yeah.
and I rode it to the last house before it starts.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was
Dang.
totally nuts. One of my, definitely my longest wave I've ever had.
Jeez.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's a long wave.
yeah, it's sectiony, but
Yeah.
it's a good one.
I haven't seen the sand like that in a long time.
Yeah, Brad. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, I didn't realize you're packing to go.
Yeah,
Sorry for
gotta
zapping up
go.
some of your time.
I had to go clean the bottom and replace the zinc.